Hello everybody and welcome to Retro Ratchet. So today I've got a much more modern hot hatch to bring to the channel. This is the successor to the mighty 205 1.9 GTI that everybody loved back in the 80s. Well, this one is a 2005 206 GTI, but this is a much rarer 180 brake horsepower version. Now, the original 206 GTI was released way back in 1999. That had a 2-litre 16-valve engine and that output 138 brake horsepower. Now, that was a little bit down on power compared to some of its main rivals like the Mini Cooper S, Civic Type R, Clio 172 at the time. So fast forward to 2003 and Peugeot then brought out this 180 brake horsepower version. So again, that was a little bit closer to the Civic Type R's 197 and the Renault Clio's 182 brake horsepower at the time, and it would probably give a Cooper S a good run for its money. So this 2005 car that we have today, it's got around 80,000 miles on the clock, absolutely immaculate. It's finished in aluminium grey, which I much prefer to the much more common metallic blue ones that you do see running about all over the place. Okay, so these 180 brake horsepower versions did get a few goodies over the other models. Let's start with the wheels. 17-inch 5-spoke wheels. These ones painted in anthracite grey, which I think suits, you know, the silver paint work perfectly, and they do fill the arch as well, so that's another bonus. They're also fitted with this little rear boot spoiler here. Again, it's not too big, but then it is big enough to stand out, so you do notice it. Front and rear bumpers are colour coded as well. That makes it look a lot more modern in my opinion. I mean, the lines of these, they are very, very clean when you look along it. Everything colour-coded except the wing mirrors here. It's a cute looking car. The proportions are really good. The body kit itself, you know, going round the arches, I think suit it really well. So it's not too much in your face, but when you look at it, you do realise it isn't just a standard model. Now, the 180s also came standard with twin tailpipes. This one's got the twin tailpipes, but this is a Janspeed exhaust system on this one, and I tell you what, it sounds amazing because I've already done the driving part of this video, so really impressed with that. It sounds spot on. We'll try and get some drive-bys of that later for you guys. And then over here you also got the GTI with the 180 badge underneath it to show it's the sporty model. Somebody's removed a wiper off that. That's not really my taste. That's the first thing I would probably put back on because I think it looks weird without them. So the view from the front is a lot sportier than the standard models. I mean, these things, they are quite curvy. They're not like the 205s that were a lot more angular and squared off. So I think the designers have done quite a lot of work to get this looking like it is. But yeah, so you've got the wee fog lights here. You've got this mesh grille down here. You can see a bit of mesh under there as well. I don't know if that is standard, and the same up there for that intake. So that does make it look a good bit better in my opinion. And then moving down here, you've got this SP badge. I don't know what SP actually stands for, maybe sport, something like that. A little lip spoiler down here. As you can see, look at how low this car sits. You can just get your hand in under there, but the stance is just right for this, I would say. Certainly for a top-of-the-range sports model. So first impressions when I opened the bonnet was, Jesus Christ, this looks bigger than a 2-litre, doesn't it? I mean, I think that's just all the plastic covers and stuff, but yeah, it certainly doesn't look like, you know, a 20-year-old 2-litre design here. This does remind me of the old 1.9 GTIs, this inlet arrangement here, but with these, how they got the extra power was, they fitted variable valve timing on the inlet cam, and they modified the cylinder head somewhat as well, and that worked towards getting that 180 brake out the engine. I think they also changed the gear ratios as well. First seems quite a bit taller on this one. So all in all, it does look a tight fit, getting this 2-litre 16 valve in here under the engine bay, but then again, these do have quite a short bonnet on them. Right, let's take a wee look at this interior. Well, there's a massive difference between this and a standard 206, I would say. Right, so take a look at these seats. I really, really like these. Massively different from the standard ones. Very, very heavily bolstered, but I've found them actually also quite comfortable. There's these parts here that even hold your shoulders in when you're blasting about on B roads, if that happens to be your thing. They don't have a separate headrest, it's just a one-piece backrest. So yeah, very, very different. And you've got this half Alcantara trim. You do have that in the glove box, but that is standard on other models, and the same on the door trims. This one's fitted with climate control, missing its radio cassette player, which is fine. You've got a leather trimmed steering wheel here, which again is really comfortable to use. So everything's very rounded and curvy in here, no straight squared off edges at all. And I've just noticed as well actually that dashboard appears to be trimmed in leather, which is a nice little addition. So I quite like it. It's a very pleasant car to sit in. Right, let's take a wee look at this instrument panel, see how much it varies from the other models. Well, the first thing you notice is that red line up there at a whopping 7,500. You've got oil temperature over there, coolant, and obviously fuel, and 150 mile an hour speedo if it'll manage to get up to that. I think the book top speed is 138, and I can quite believe it would get to that. And in the centre here, you've got your climate control system, which is a nice extra. Chrome gear knob. You've got your electric window and mirror switches here, and I think this is obviously for the alarm system. No sunroof up here. And over here you've just got the headlamp aim and your ESP off button if you want to have a bit more fun. But yeah, I think it's a very pleasant car to sit in. Okay, so the most important part is it fast? How does it drive? Does it sound nice? And do I want to buy one? So let's find out. Got a wee digital check there for oil level on the dash, so that's helpful. Listen to that Jan Speed exhaust. How nice does that sound? Let's take you back to the 90s, doesn't it? Fortunately today we're blessed with some perfect B-class roads to test this car out on. Although they are a wee bit on the narrow side. Okay, what's my first impressions on driving it? Firstly, it just wants to go. Put your foot down, it's ready to go. And secondly, it feels like a really well set up hot hatch. So what is it like to sit in and drive? Well, it's a little bit of an awkward driving position, I think. My legs are a little bit close. My arms are the right distance away, but the steering wheel and these just adjust up and down, not for reach. So the pedals are a wee bit close for my liking. They're very close together and they're too close to the seat. Yeah, so you're operating with the tips of your toes, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit odd and it takes a wee bit of getting used to. But I love the seats. They hold you right in position. They're very, very comfy and supportive. So ergonomics are decent. You know, all the controls are within easy reach. The only one thing I would comment on is with these heavily bolstered seats. So I'm finding when I'm going, you know, to second or to fourth, I'm hitting the back of my arm, you know, off that bolster there. So that would probably get a wee bit annoying after a while. But pedals are nice and light. The steering, I think, is actually really well weighted in this one. It isn't too light and it isn't too heavy. I mean, when you're manoeuvring about at slow speeds, it does actually weigh up quite a lot, more so than I would have expected. Right, so how's it going second gear? 2,000 revs, 20 mile an hour, floor it. And it flies. Try a wee first gear pull. Traction killed that one a wee bit. It was like hitting a brick wall. It's very, very responsive. You get a nice wee burble on overrun as well. If you lift off, and you've just got a wee bit, leave a wee bit gas on there, you can hear it just burbling away. Really, really nice. Not too exaggerated like a lot of modern cars. So a lot of people have mentioned with the 180 brake version that it just doesn't have the torque lower down, but I don't think it's too bad, you know, for a 2 litre. This is a look when you're lost, and this doesn't look like the same road that you came out earlier. So who knows where we are now. Let's try a wee right here. So I have to say up front, I am very impressed by this car, its performance, you know, the way it puts its power down. I have done quite a few miles in it actually before I've shot this part of the review, and yeah, I really, really like it. I did read a lot of reviews about these, a lot of negative comments, but I don't know. I know my opinion is it scores really highly in my book. Now brakes. I've tested the brakes a good few times on this road, and what I can say is they are spectacularly good. Check that out. So these things will stop you. I couldn't comment on brake fade, but certainly that bite is really, really good and reassuring. Very, very powerful and very, very reliable so far, that's for sure. Okay, so what's my conclusions on the 206 GTI 1.8? So I think you can probably gauge from my reaction when driving it, it's definitely a positive one, and it's certainly something I'd love to add to my collection. I thought the engine was an absolute peach. You know, it's strong top end when that VVC system kicks in, and I think even off cam, you know, it was plenty torquey enough, you know, to shift this little hot hatch along on these type of roads. Handling was excellent. It was like a little go-kart, and the brakes really, really reassuring, very, very powerful. The styling, I'm not 100% keen on the styling of 206s in general, but I think when you add in all the extras like the spoiler, the wheels, the mesh grille and stuff in the front, that makes a massive difference. So then in my book it gets a thumbs up. The only thing I didn't really like was the seating position. I mean, you do get used to it, but it is just a little bit awkward and clumsy when you've got your tiptoes basically on the pedals. You know, they are just so close together and so close to you. So that's my one negative, but I think it's certainly something I would love to add to my collection. I don't even think they're that valuable. I think they're maybe somewhere between £3,000 and £4,000 for a decent one like this. We will find it. We'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But yeah, thumbs up for this one. I hope you enjoyed that one, and stay tuned for the next one.